Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the April DAC Webcast. I am Shara Savage, Branch Manager in the Division of Assessment and Accountability Support here at KDE. I want to begin by acknowledging the devastating flooding that has impacted several areas across the Kentucky this spring. We know many of you, your students, and your communities are still dealing with the aftermath. Please know that our thoughts are with you, and we are here to support you however we can during this difficult time. I truly appreciate you joining us today, whether you're tuning in live or watching the recording later. As always, thank you for the work that you are doing in your districts to support students and educators. I know this is a busy time of year, so we'll use today to highlight key updates, share timely reminders, and ensure that you have the resources and support needed as we head into the final stretch of the school year. So let's get started. As we begin today's webcast, here's a quick overview of the agenda. We will start with House Bill 298 and the impact it has had on federal classification requirements, specifically changes to CSI identification. I'll be walking you through that update. Next, we'll move into ACT score reporting. Kristen Roseberry will review what districts need to know moving forward. Tiffany Christopher will then bring us important reminders and guidance on K-Screen, including timelines and support available. Melissa Chandler will provide us with reminders on KSA and AKSA site visits. And Kristen Mullins will follow up with updates on the alternate Kentucky assessment, the AKSA, including progress during Window 1 and what is to be expected for Window 2. Chris Williams will help us prepare for spring rosters by reviewing key SDRR updates, and she will also provide access and alternate access updates. To close us out today's webcast, Ben Riley will lead us in a special moment to honor the life and contribution of our beloved colleague, John Wickheiser. We have a full agenda, and we are grateful that you've joined. So let's go ahead and begin with House Bill 298. The 2025 legislative session ended on March 28th. Let's take a look at legislation passed this session that will impact the identification of federal school classifications moving forward. House Bill 298 amends KRS 160346 and requires KDE to identify schools for comprehensive support and improvement, or CSI, on an annual basis rather than every 3 years as was previously the case. Beginning in fall 2025, KDE will continue with CSI and ATSI identification as scheduled. However, moving forward from that point, CSI identification will be conducted every year. It is important to note the criteria for ATSI, additional targeted support and improvement, have not changed. The next new ATSI identification year will occur in 2025 and not again until 2028. Additionally, the bill makes no changes to the identification of TSI, or targeted support and improvement. Identification of TSI will continue to happen annually, just as it has in the past. The annual identification of CSI ensures more frequent and responsive identification, aligning with our goals of providing timely support to schools most in need. Now, an important note to remember is that legislative changes made in 2020 require the department to use 3 years of data to identify the lowest performing 5% of schools. Due to 2 years of no accountability during the pandemic, fall of 2025 reporting will be the first time we will have 3 years of accountability data to implement this requirement. We will provide more details on this in future training resources. So Ben, I'll stop right there before I turn it over to Kristen. Do we have any questions?
We don't at this time, but as always, we circle back around at the end.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Kristen, I turn it over to you now.
Thanks, Shara. Good morning, everyone. As Shara said, my name is Kristen Roseberry. I'm a program consultant in the Office of Assessment and Accountability, and I want to start off by saying thank you to all of you for all that you've done to make the spring 2025 junior ACT administration a success. Over 46,000 ACT tests were completed online with very few issues, and that would not be possible without all the hard work you do every day. So again, I just want to say thank you. And so with that, I want to give you a few reminders about the score reporting for the administration. With the spring administration now concluded, ACT and KDE want to ensure that school and district testing staff have access to data and reports from the spring administration. As detailed in the score report schedule, specific deliverables will be available approximately 3 to 8 weeks after online exams are submitted for scoring or the receipt of paper answer documents for scoring. ACT will email school and district staff when final student level data files, aggregate reports, and any non-collegeable reportable score notification letters are available in ACT's online reporting system that is housed within success.act.org. The final data and reports will be available no later than May 27th. Materials are processed as they are received. Scores are not held until the entire school is processed. All students from a single school or district may not receive their scores simultaneously. I want to remind you this data is not embargoed. However, student level data is considered confidential and should never be shared publicly. OAA recommends that schools and districts refrain from publicly or internally sharing the data until after May 27th, when the aggregate results are complete, to ensure accuracy and consistency in reporting. Please allow the full 8 weeks to pass before you contact ACT about any missing scores. After 8 weeks, you can complete the web form that is linked at the bottom of this slide. And if you have any questions or need additional information about accessing that data within the online reporting system. So I just want to say again, thank you for all your hard work to make this ACT administration successful. And I believe next I turn it over to my colleague Tiffany, but first I wanted to ask Ben, are there any questions about ACT?
We don't have any at this time, but we'll check again at the end for you.
Thank you, Ben. And I will now turn it over to Tiffany.
Thanks, Kristen. Let's see. I have a few updates on the K-Screen program for our training that is upcoming on April 30th. Train the Trainers will be presented by KDE and Curriculum Associates virtually on April 30th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. This training is required for anyone who will be training others in the district to implement the K-Screen. Registration is open until the close of business on Friday on April 25th, and you can register using this link. On Monday, April 28th, KDE will send out some information via email. At this time, I'll check in with Ben to see if we have any questions regarding the K-Screen program.
I don't see any questions right now, but I'm going to go ahead and, if you don't care, I'm going to move your slides forward for you, Tiffany. Oh, we get you. Oh, there we go. Perfect. All right, but we don't have any questions at this time. I'm gonna we'll check in again at the end for you.
Okay, thanks so much. I'll go ahead and pass it over to Melissa for KSA updates.
All right. Thanks, Tiffany, and happy Thursday, everyone. I know all of our DACs and VACs are busy right now preparing for KSA and all the tasks that come with that. So in looking towards KSA, I want to provide a bit of information about site visits that will take place during the assessment windows. So now that district testing windows have been established in SDRR, OAA will begin planning for site visits. And as in the past, OAA will conduct both in-person and virtual visits. And as a reminder, those sites are selected both purposefully and at random for each region. I've linked the assessment support forms webpage here on this slide. And on that page, you'll be able to access the KSA and AKSA site visit survey questions, so you'll know exactly what will be asked in a visit. So if your district has been visited in the past, you have a pretty good idea of what to expect. But if not, I'm going to share some information here that may be helpful. If your school selected for an in-person visit, the DAC will receive a phone call about 30 minutes in advance of our team arriving. And if your school selected for a virtual visit, that will be conducted via Microsoft Teams, and that will be scheduled in advance with the DAC. Now, during both the in-person and virtual visits, OAA will interview school staff. The staff should definitely include the BAC, but could also include the DAC and a school administrator if they are available. So during the interview, OAA staff will ask questions from that site visit survey form, and we'll ask for documentation that's listed on that form. And I've listed some of the examples of documentation here on the slide. A full list is available on the actual survey questions. So interview information that we collect will be documented during the visit, and that will be compiled and retained here at KDE for reporting and auditing purposes. And then in addition to OAA site visits, Cavion, which is KDE's test security vendor, will also be conducting in-person monitoring visits. Now, if a district's selected for a visit, it will only be one group. It will either be Cavion or OAA, not both. So don't stress about, multiple visits. And when Cavion visits, the DACs will receive a call from OAA staff. We'll inform them that Cavion's going to be conducting the visit. And then the Cavion staff member or members will arrive on site prior to the start of the school day, and they'll identify themselves with documentation. Now, I will note here that Cavion staff have passed background checks. They've also received training regarding their obligations under FERPA and the Kentucky state law, so that student privacy will be protected. Now, during a Cavion visit, BACs will be interviewed and asked to provide testing documentation and explain procedures, which may include security protocols or distribution of test materials. Now, one difference from OAA site visits is that Cavion monitors will actively observe classrooms, and they will log those observations in real time. So Cavion monitors have been instructed not to interfere with or to disrupt testing in any manner. And so efforts will definitely be made not to observe any groups that could be adversely affected by the presence of someone outside of your school building. So for example, if you have students testing in a small group or individually due to behaviors, Cavion should not ask to go visit those particular groups. Similar to OAA visits, the information that Cavion collects during these visits will be used for reporting and auditing purposes. Hopefully that provides a clear picture of what to expect for a site visit. We definitely look forward to coming to see the schools and seeing all the good things that are happening during testing over the next month or so. Then that's it for me. So are there any questions I can answer before we move on to our next topic?
I'm refreshing right now.
Okay.
Looks like we have a question for K-Screen, which we'll circle back around at the end, but we've not got any for KSA at this time, so we'll check again at the end.
Yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions that may roll in throughout the rest of the webcast. So for now, I will pass things off to Krista. She's going to provide us with an AKSA update.
All right. Good morning, everyone. And my name is Krista Mullins, and I am a program consultant here in the Office of Assessment and Accountability, and I'm going to talk to you about the AKSA today. So just some timeline reminders is window 2 will begin this coming Monday, April 14th, and run through May 23rd. Districts may choose to end the window earlier than May 23rd if needed, based on your school calendar. The student registration database, SRD, also opens for score entry for those window 2 tasks on Monday, April 14th. And then the TAR, the Transition Attainment Record Administration, will end May 23rd. The last day to enter any scores in SRD for Window 2 and TAR will be May 30th. And the last day to delete students from SRD is also May 30th. Moving on to new test administrators. If you have a new test administrator in the district, they will need to complete all trainings. That's the admin code, inclusion of special populations, as well as both attainment task trainings, and complete the AT qualification quiz in the online training system. The new test administrator will need to register for an account in the OTS, and the DAC will need to email me with the test administrator's name so that I can open that quiz for that test administrator. And here on the screen, you can see a picture of what that members area looks like for that test administrator to click on and register for an account there in the OTS. Once the test administrator has successfully completed that AT quiz, the completion certificate showing they completed the quiz needs to be given to the DAC. And as a reminder, testing materials are not to be given to a test administrator until all required training is complete and the DAC has received that AT quiz completion certificate. Let's move into talking about changes with students. So if you've had a student who has moved into the district from out of state and the ARC has met and they meet Kentucky's eligibility criteria for the alternate, or if the student has recently qualified for the AKSA, the student must take Window 1 and Window 2 during our second window of April 14th through May 23rd. The DAC will need to add that student into SRD and complete the Spring 2025 Window 1 makeup request during Window 2 form. It's linked on this slide, and it was also sent in the Monday DAC email on April 7th, and also the special alternate email on April 7th. I do ask that you allow 1 to 2 business days for KDE to review the request and send an email upon completion of processing the request. For students who have transferred from another district in Kentucky, please email me with the student's SSID number, district, and school the student now attends so that KDE can transfer the student in SRD. And as a reminder, please do not email student names to me. If an admissions and release committee ARC meeting takes place and determines a student is no longer eligible for AKSA, that student will take the KSA in the spring and the student's record in SRD will need to be deleted. You can submit those requests for the student to be deleted from SRD using the SRD CRD Student Deletion Request 2025 form, which was also sent in the Monday DAC email on April 7th and in the special alternate email on April 7th. Now looking at entering scores in SRD, when you're entering scores for Window 2, it will be very similar to Window 1 score entry. Prior to entering the scores, you will need to select a form number, as you can see from this screenshot. And you can see with Window 1, the AT is green, which shows that that student's scores were entered and saved. And Window 2, the AT is red, meaning scores still need to be entered for that student. For Window 2, the Quality of School Climate and Safety Survey, the QSCS survey, scores will also be entered. All students assessed on the AKSA must complete the QSCS survey. And you can see there where the survey, it will show red for you in the SRD when it opens on Monday, showing that the student needs to complete that survey. So I'm going to check with Ben right now and see if he has any questions that have come in for me.
Sure. I'm refreshing the inbox and currently we don't have any, but we'll check again at the end for you.
All right. Thanks so much. All right. At this time, I'm going to pass things over to my colleague, Chris Williams, as she brings some updates about SDRR.
Thanks, Krista. Hi, I'm Chris Williams, and I'm going to bring to you 2 topics today. First one we're going to go over is the Student Data Review and Roster Updates, which is SDRR. So let's begin. With SDRR, it's fixing to open. It'll open in SDRR on April the 23rd and will close on June 11th. During this time for spring rosters, you want to make sure that you are looking at all of the information in SDRR. You're going to look at your AKSA, your KSA. You're going to look at your access and WIDA alternate access again. Those you will see again. You will also look at your post-secondary readiness and cohort graduation rate for 4-year and 5-year. What we want to make sure is that you want to make sure that in Infinite Campus by April 18th, that all of your information for your students is current and accurate and is ready to go for your student demographics, because prior to opening of spring rosters on April the 23rd. We do have several IC reports that are available to you to support these updates and may be reviewed in advance. So we want to make sure that you're looking over and using those IC reports before SDRR opens on April 23rd, because that's going to be an important that all of your information in Infinite Campus pulls over to SDRR correctly. And if everything pulls over and whatever you're going to do, then you'll be able to go in and see all of your information. You'll be able to see your the student's name, grade, SSID number, date of birth, gender, race, ethnicity, lunch, IEP, and EL information on your student listings for all of your students. You'll also be able in SDRR see that you can make annotations. You'll be able to do that because, like I said, the previous information I gave you with the demographics, all of that information has to be correct in Infinite Campus for it to pull over correctly in SDRR. And if you try to go into your student listings and make any changes to demographics, it will give you a pop-up box and say, hey, you need to go back to Infinite Campus and make that change. So that way it'll pre-populate for you in SDRR. Then while you're in SDRR to your student listings, you can also make any annotations, anything that happened during testing. You can also make those. You want to make sure you put those annotations in, because when those open, there will be no annotations yet, unless you made any during access or any during the WIDA alternate access. If you had to do any, had to add any students for non-participation reasons, then you would be able to make those annotations and things like that during that time. Right now, what you're going to do when that opens on 23rd in SDRR, you can make those annotations. You can also add and delete students. So sometimes what happens is that we've got students who are on, who take AKSA and they're not showing up on the AKSA student listing. They're showing up on KSA student listing. And it could be, one of the reasons why you didn't have the IEPs locked in Infinite Campus. So that's also important, is to make sure on April 18th, make sure that all of your demographic information is correct. Make sure your IEPs are locked, so that way all that information will pull over correctly, and the student will show if that is locked in Infinite Campus, the IEP, then it will show a yes in the column for accommodations for you. And you'll be able to mark those as a yes or no of what accommodations were given on KSA and AKSA and et cetera. Now, you also will be able to make changes to your 100-day entity. Of course, we did went in and you've already selected your test windows for SDRR for elementary, middle, and high school. That is closed. But we do know that with the recent issues with flooding and things like that, that your calendars may have changed or other things could have affected your calendar. If that happened, of course, you know, SDRR is closed for that, but you can send an email to KDE Assessment and let them know if your test windows for elementary, middle, or high school had changed. Because that's going to be very important for us to make sure that's all correct. So that way we can not only, like Melissa said, to be able to come out and do site visits with you and know when those, when you're going to be testing, but also, you know, to make sure that your calendars are also, your school calendars are up to date in Infinite Campus, and that way we have the most accurate accountability information, so that way we can pre-populate that for you on April the 23rd when SDRR opens. You'll also be able to go in and mark any non-participations, because this will be the time that you'll be able to go in and mark those non-participations for your all of your students if they're not able to test. You know, so if especially for your AKSA. You know, you want to make sure that you've done window 1, and if the student's not able to do window 2, that you'll be able to go in and mark those non-participations for those students. And if you had any students who had non-participations previously back in January, February for our access for our English learners, or for our WIDA alternate access as well, those should be showing in SDRR when that opens. So you want to check that information and make sure that those are still showing up correctly. And keep in mind that when you make any 100-day entity changes, 100-day for accountability, or if you go in and mark any non-participation reasons, those have to be approved by our office. And so they are quickly working on those during those time. And remember that there will be a lot of tickets that will be submitted during this time. So just be patient with them as they go through this particular process to assist you with those. So always make sure that you're looking at your tickets in SDRR that you have filed in there, making sure that those are approved. And if they're not approved, if they were denied, we always tell you the reason why we deny those, or if we're waiting on some update information from you. So, or if you're waiting for us to make any updates, so to approve that or not. So just keep in mind to look at those particular things as you go through. With Infinite Campus, we just want to make sure also in Infinite Campus that that information is correct, because that's going to be important for your 100-day entity. Also for your demographic information for your students to pull over correctly, we've got some IC report resources for you. Those are in Infinite Campus. We also shared this back during our February DAC trainings when we did SDRR. So just want to give you, you know, a heads up that, you know, these reports are available to you to run to make sure that your IEP information, you know, pulls over correctly, that your alternate assessment information pulls over correctly, your English learner information, and also your cohort graduation rate information pulls over correctly. And you'll see that there's a link here to all of these reports to assist you in data quality in that data quality document. Also, it is this information is also underneath the I Need Help button in SDRR to assist you as well. So that way, when you log into SDRR, you'll see that big red I Need Help button, and that will help you with that. And let's move on, because I've already started talking about some of those resources that you're gonna see. Some of the important resources for SDRR is that big red I Need Help button. It's on every screen in the top right-hand corner once you log in. And some people ask, well, Chris, what if I don't have a login? Of course, you always want to go to your WAPOC to be able to, that's your web applications point of contact in your district. And those are listed on our KDE website. And if your WAPOC is, it's a fancy name for just your district technology person. So go to that person and they'll be able to get you rights to SDRR if needed. With those resources, not only will you have underneath the I Need Help button, you'll have lots of resources about all of our assessments. You'll also see a screencast of the step-by-step instructions to help you through every part of how do I add a student? How do I delete a student? How do I file a non-participation? How do I change accountability? And then also, how do I request accommodations? So there's step-by-step instructions to help you with that information. Please take advantage of those, and you can either look at those electronically underneath the I Need Help, or you can print those off underneath that I Need Help button. And it'll take you through the screens. They'll have screenshots of each of those in SDRR, along with the step-by-step instructions to assist you. Another important thing too that will help you is for a 100-day entity is that 100-day tool, and also the 100-day quiz to test your knowledge to see. Remember, the 100-day quiz is anonymous. We're not going to go in there and say, that's just a learning tool to kind of help you with some scenarios with 100-day entity. Also, we have to help with cohort 4-year and 5-year. We also have the cohort tool that'll also help you through that particular process. There's also lots of information about cohort underneath the I Need Help button. It'll give you lots of information too with like the withdrawal codes and things like that. Also to help you with lots of things with cohort. And then also another important thing that we want you to take advantage of is the sandbox. We want you to sandbox version of SDRR that allows your staff to be able to play around with that without being in the live version of SDRR. So just want to you to take advantage of all these resources that are available. But we also have one more thing too that's going to help you along with these resources is that we're going to have what we call hot topic office hours. And those were also in our February DAC trainings, but just wanted to give you some reminders because those are going to be coming up soon. Our first hot topic for SDRR will be April the 15th from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to talk about SDRR resources and where to get assistance with SDRR. And then we'll have like a presentation for you for each one of these. And then we'll also give you plenty of time to ask your questions during those times. We do want to let you know to make sure to attend these. Like I said, the first one is going to be next Tuesday. We'll also have a reminder in the Monday DAC email when these are going to be occurring. And then you also have the links here to be able to get to those as well. And then we'll have one on April the 22nd, which we will talk about the SDR task list and ticket, and also how to do tickets in SDRR and how to also go in and look at your information once you've put your tickets in and how to get the things. Also, on April the 29th, we'll talk about how to request non-participations. And then lastly, on May 6th, we'll talk about how to determine our 100-day accountability and the rules and tools for all of that information. So we've got lots of information for you for SDRR to help you to make you successful with this. You not only have our website, that our SDRR webpage that has links and things like that for you, but it also has we also have on our meetings and trainings page all of our February DAC trainings, on SDRR. as well as our other assessments. And then we have, like I said, the I Need Help button and our Hot Topic office hours that will assist you with all of this work. So Ben, I know that was a lot to cover with SDRR, and just keep in mind, I do want to remind you about if you have any changes to your district test calendar, collections. I know it's closed in SDRR, but you still have an opportunity. If something has happened with your calendars, make sure that those are updated in IFIC Campus. And then if you need to change your elementary, middle, or high school, please send that an email to kdeassessment@education.ky.gov. Okay, Ben, do we have any questions before I move to our next topic?
I am not seeing any at this time. We'll check in again at the end of our presentation for you as well.
Okay, thank you, Ben. Appreciate that. Okay, so my next topic for you is access for ELLs and our WIDA alternate access updates. So let's get into those. I do have some reminders because we just finished our data validation for both access and WIDA alternate, and I appreciate all of the districts and our DACs and our BACs and other staff in our district, because we have lots of EL support with our EL coordinators and our test administrators who also go in and work hard and tirelessly for our access and alternate to make it successful. And it was a successful year, even though we had lots of weather issues to start us out with, and we were resilient and got through it together, and I appreciate all your hard work for that to make it successful this year. I know that we just finished our, if you noticed our calendar on our WIDA website, we have we just finished our data validation. And so that is finished. And so now we're getting ready for our next thing that is on our schedule, which is our reports. And so some reminders for you that you will see your reports on April the 28th in WIDA AMS. That's the WIDA Assessment Management System. You'll be able to log in and look at those score reports electronically online. And then also on starting May 7th through 8th, you'll be able to get your printed reports for both access and WIDA alternate access. Now, just like what we had for SDRR, we do have lots of resources too for school reports. We have not only the Access for Yellow Score and Reports webpage on the WIDA website, we also have the interpretive guide for score reports that will also assist you. And then we also, underneath the WIDA Secure portal, we have for our Access for ELLs and our WIDA alternate access, the parent reports. We have those translated for you in 47 languages to accompany those score reports. So that way, that would be for our parents to be able to get that information in the native language of the student and also of the parent. So just want to let you know that that parent report is where you will see those translated, be able to get to those translated, and you can put those with those reports. Those will explain the score reports. And then also we had a webinar on March the 11th for interpreting score reports that it was also recorded, and you can also get to that underneath the webinars page, underneath the WIDA Secure portal. So just want you to know that that's coming up. And then once you get those scores, we will be putting that information for you, loading those as a state for you. So there's no need for you to go in and put that information in. And we will let you know in Monday DAC email once those reports, once those scores are in Infinite Campus underneath the state edition of that for you. Do want to let you know too that once you get those score reports, one thing you'll want to make sure you do is if you've got any students who have exited this year, that you wait until June. You'll want to go in and put June 30th as their actual exit date, because even though we get our school reports before the school year ends, the student is still an English learner until the end of the school year, and so they don't officially exit until the end of the school year. So they'll still get their accommodations and things like that on KSA. So just want you to remember that you'll have to go into Infinite Campus, and as of 6:30 of this current year, if any of the student exited, you'll go in and put that information in at a later date during that time. And also with the score reports, you also want to make sure that, when you get those scores for those students who are still continuing with the program, that they are also going in and checking and using the, our standards, connecting those standards, to help you for the student to provide instruction for next year. So those reports are very important to use. And Ben, do we have any questions on our access, or are we to alternate access?
Sure, refreshing my browser right now. It looks like we don't have any, but we'll check in again here at the end.
Okay, I do want to thank you all for all your hard work, and I do want to say, I know all the things that you're going through with flooding and things like that, and just know that we're here to support you, and I appreciate all you all do every day. And just let us know how we can help. I'm going to turn it over to Shara.
Thank you, Chris. So that is all of our content that we have here today. So Ben, we'll pause here and see what questions we have.
Sounds good, Shara. We did receive 2 questions during the presentation. They're both K-screen questions. So I'd like to invite Tiffany on to join us so we can get those answered. Tiffany, are you with us?
I am, Ben.
Perfect.
Thanks.
All right, so here's the first question we received. Will there be another refresher training?
Another refresher training. So the refresh video has been posted online on our website at KDE, and you can go there and watch the video and fill out the ELA training and receive credit for it.
All right. And I'll also note too, just for everybody, that both the ELA credit form and the video are on the Common Kindergarten Entry Screener webpage, specifically on our website. All right, are you ready for the second one?
Yep.
Okay. Do district trainers who have previously trained in prior years through Curriculum Associates need to attend the April 30th training? And I believe they're referring to the Train the Trainer or Training of Trainers training that we give.
Okay, yeah, sure. So if you've attended one of the Train the Trainers, the full 5-hour session, you do not need to repeat that. You would just log in and watch the refresher training that's on the website that Ben mentioned.
All right. And that looks like that's all the questions we've gotten, Shara, at this time. So I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay, thank you, Ben. So before I turn it over to Ben, know that our next webcast will be on May 8th. And if you think of anything after we conclude here today, you most certainly can give us a call or email us at DAC Info, and we will get your questions answered. So Ben, at this time, I'll turn it over to you to close us out.
Thanks, Shara. We just wanted to take a minute and let you know that with heavy hearts, we announced the passing of John Wise Wickheiser, affectionately known as Wick. Wick was a cherished colleague and an irreplaceable part of our KDE OAA family. At OAA, John dedicated his career to transforming processes around assessment and accountability data in the Division of Accountability Data and Analysis. His knack for turning complex information into understandable narratives was matched only by his ability to inject well-timed jokes into the thickest of meetings. His technical brilliance and relentless pursuit of clarity set a high standard. Beyond his professional achievements, John was renowned for his quick-witted humor and flair for his signature dose of lighthearted shenanigans that kept us all here at OAA on our toes and laughing. Many in our office looked up to John both literally, thanks to his impressive height and natural talent for retrieving items from the top shelf, and figuratively admiring his leadership, his love for life, and his true joy, his family. Whether he was devising creative solutions to data challenges or pulling off a lighthearted prank that left us in stitches, John always reminded us that a smile and a good laugh are as crucial as quality control on any well-organized data report. Today, as we honor his legacy, we want to celebrate a member of our OAA family whose infectious enthusiasm for life continues to inspire us to work smarter, laugh harder, and savor the simple moments of joy. John will be deeply missed by all in OAA. Thank you for joining us today.